Hey guys, Christy here. I told you about a week ago I was going to do a video with a story time, but I've been busy, and then I was coming down with a cold and didn't have any energy, and then I came down with a cold and didn't have any energy. And now I'm kind of getting to the end of the cold, so I thought I would try to keep my promise and tell you a story, but it's going to have to be a bedtime story. So, yes, I've got this head cold, chest cold thing. I'm in my fuzzy pajamas already to help keep me warm. But the story I was going to tell, it's not that exciting a story, really, but it was just how my life keeps bumping up against the life of the Emperor Claudius. And so here we go. Once upon a time, I was in my second year of university at my undergraduate, and I was working a summer job. I was a waitress for a place called Country Kitchen. I don't think it exists anymore. That summer, it also happened to be the 25th anniversary of Masterpiece Theater in the United States airing I, Claudius on American television. And it was like this big event. I'd never heard of it because I wasn't even like 25 at the time. And I sort of caught the first episode before I went to work or something. Because when I was on this waitressing shift, because we were the young people, we always got the crappy shifts, like 11 at night till 7 in the morning, or 10 p.m. until 6 a.m., that kind of stuff. And after that, I set the VCR to record it, and every week until the series ended, I watched this episode of I, Claudius, which is based on a Robert Graves book. It's historical fiction, but it's written with such accuracy, and the timeline is so, connected to actual events. Some people mistook it for a real diary by the Emperor Claudius. That's the premise of the book, is that he's left behind this family history, and the book is his first-hand account of watching, people rise to power, Tiberius, and then Caligula, and then himself. Well, I fell in love with it. I watched the TV series, I bought the book, and it was fantastic, and it was just something I've always really treasured in terms of a literary work. Fast forward to my 30s, and I was accepted to various universities. I decided to go back for my master's, and I got accepted. I think I applied to like 10 or 11 programs. I got accepted to all of them, but decided in the end to go to the University of Essex because they did political behavior. That's what I wanted to study. The other ones are like political communications and politics and whatnot. But anyway, when I got there and I got to Colchester, which is the town right next to the university, I learned that Colchester was the sort of the capital of Roman Britain before Londinium, or London became the capital. And one of the pieces, or one of the connections of Colchester to Claudius is that during the reign of Claudius, he came to he came to Britain to pacify the Britons. If I'm a little coldy, sort of like dozy and stuff, it's because of the cold medicines and things. Claudius came to Colchester, and it wasn't called Colchester at the time. It was like Caledonium, something like that. It was also known as like the city of Victorious Claudius or whatever, because of how awesome he was pacifying the native population. Colchester was also where they built the temple to the god Claudius, the ground on which I'm pretty sure is the same ground that when Boudica came to attack the nearest Roman city in her rebellion against Roman rule was now what is now Colchester, and people fled to the temple of Claudius, I'm pretty sure, and they burnt it down with everybody inside. And that later became the grounds of the castle, and the castle was built after, obviously, that time period. And I know it was used during the English Civil War. But it was like, oh, wow, here I am, and I'm in the city where Claudius landed when he first came to Britain. Isn't that kind of cool? Because it reminded me of the book, and it made me happy, because I was like, oh, I get to see part of what the book refers to here live where I live. Fast forward again to 2011, and I get an offer to work in Cologne. I hadn't really known anything about Cologne before I got here, and so as I learned about the history, one of the things that I learned was that the brother of Claudius, Germanicus, was stationed here in Cologne. He was like the Roman general dude in this area for Gaul. And I knew who Germanicus was because of I, Claudius. And I later learned that his daughter Agrippina Minor, or Agrippina the Younger, was born here in Cologne. And that after the Emperor Claudius had to execute his first wife for treason, which is a whole big drama. You can read about it in the second book, The God Claudius and His Wife Messalina. But after she had been gotten rid of for her rebellion, he had to marry again, according to his advisors, and they advised him to marry his niece, Agrippina the Younger. As a consequence of that, getting married, she talked him into, or they decided to, make Cologne a Roman city. It was just sort of a normal village before, but it got the status of a Roman city. And it's there are parts of the original Roman city that have these brass plaques. If you walk around in the area with a map of the original Roman sort of area, so you can figure out where you are in ancient Roman Cologne. Part of that has the letter CCAA, which stands for like Colonia Claudia Aria Agrippa, something in Latin about Agrippina, about Agrippines, the Agrippines. All right, try that part again. Colonia Claudia Ara Agrippinensium, something like that, which translates into like colony of the Claudians and the altar to the Agrippinians. So once again, I'm living in a city that has its connection, like with the Temple of Claudius in Colchester, and Claudius actually elevating Cologne to be a Roman city. I again landed in a place that is tied to the life of this man that is the basis of the Robert Graves book. I just think it's kind of cool. Like of all the gin joints in all the world, I could have landed in Bale. Two of them are connected specifically to this, historical figure that I learned about back when I was still not able to legally drink. Not an exciting story, I told you, but I guess it is. Like I said, it's kind of like a bedtime story, because after this, I'm going to take a nap, I think. All right, guys, I'm hoping to finish up my video on the Catholic Church, my analysis of its use of power to silence victims and control the complaints around sexual abuse and possible investigations. But that's going to have to wait till I feel a little bit better. And also, when I feel a little bit better, I'm sure Kevin and I will also do a hangout together. But to do that, I'm going to need more sleep. So I'm going to go do that now, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to my story. And I'm sorry if it was boring, but I felt a bit bad because it's been kind of a while since I put anything up because I've been sick. So this is a filler video. Sorry. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. I've been Christy. I've been sick. And you've been awesome and hopefully not sick. And we'll see each other again very soon. Bye.